Welcome to the M2 podcast. This is episode 20. This is the show where we cover esports and personalities, some gaming industry related news and upcoming games, and also technology and innovation. I am your host, Michael Anthony. My co-host right here is Mr. JK, aka KyleHeath. The man today has a Halo Infinite shirt and a Smite shirt with a Halo Infinite jacket. I didn't actually notice that until you opened it up.
Yes,
So shout out
sir.
to everybody that's viewing on YouTube.
Yeah, yes,
So
sir.
yeah, without further ado, what have you had going on?
Oh man, I think you'll be proud of me, Mike. You wanna know why? I played a game this
Oh,
week. Let's
oh
go.
my gosh! Oh my! Round of
um,
applause! Round of applause!
um,
What'd you
I
do?
I did play. I played some Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Sure, you've heard of that
Ah,
game.
you were streaming that yesterday, weren't you?
I was, yeah. I fired up
Oh,
stream,
man.
and I think
I saw it.
stream's an excuse for me to get back into some games, and I certainly have a catalog to go through. So decided to fire up Hellblade. That was one that was on my list. Oh, so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm only 2 hours in, but I think overall combat's fantastic. The overall premise of the story, for those that don't know, it's essentially like it's based around like Norse mythology, and like you're playing this character Senua, who's essentially trying to resurrect, I think, like a friend or something like that, or like a relative. Um, and she's trying to go to the daughter of Loki in Helheim because in Helheim she's the only one that can like resurrect people. So you're essentially fighting through these different realms, and you're trying to eventually get to Helheim with hopes that you can resurrect the person you're trying to resurrect. So it's a very interesting concept. If you like Norse mythology, it's very it'd be up your alley because it's kind of just like you pass by like pillars throughout the game, and there's like someone that like essentially tells like a story in like the universe about like related to gods, and there's like they name drop like Odin, Ymir, and like a bunch of those like Norse gods. So it's very interesting. But it's also just like a mind bend kind of like game. At least the part that I'm at, it's very there's like these. If I can quickly describe it as like these portals essentially, and when you walk through them, the world around you changes. So like if you're like doing puzzles and stuff, like you have to actually walk through to like see specific parts that'll make you progress in the actual level and stuff. It's like very hard to explain, but like I was just like my mind was just like all over the place in stream yesterday because I was like so confused, um but it's very interesting once you kind of figure it out, you get the hang of it. So it's so far it's a really good game, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into it. So that was
That's pretty awesome.
yeah, I think it was pretty much the only like game I really played this week. Everything else is kind of just doing that. I did actually like TV. I know we don't like really go into TV or anything like that, but I was talking to my boy Preware about Silicon Valley, and he had never seen that show, and I like had seen clips from it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it.
Oh
So we
wow.
actually started that this week, and so we're almost done with season one. And oh my god, it's so good. Like especially
Yeah.
like because like being in software development and stuff like that, there's like a lot of jokes that like just really hit home. So it's been so good. But yeah, so I've watched a little TV show on the side too as of late that I'm really enjoying. But I don't know. What about you, Mike? I've seen you on a lot of Halo lately.
Yeah. Yeah. So they fixed the BR jamming, and I'm looking to possibly coach for a buddy of mine, and like it's still up in development. It's like I'm 90+% sure of being a coach, but they need to solidify their roster first. And if they get an opportunity where they can move on to a different team that already has like an org and a coach and everything, then that's what would like prevent me from coaching.
Yeah,
So in preparation, I've been just grinding Halo Infinite to remind myself like spawn system, the flow of the game, and like there's a whole new game type of King of the Hill that doesn't play like traditional King of the Hill. It plays more like a mix between King of the Hill and Strongholds, where you're just capturing points that are constantly on rotations. So it's I've been trying to get back into it just to understand it better. And outside of that, man, I played Apex, got on there. I think I told you about this, right? Like my mouse being an 8K mouse wasn't working properly when it was at the high refresh rate for the frequency range. So I downscaled it to 1000, and my like screen pairing and stuff that was happening before all went away, and I won a game and I got some kills. So
hey,
I'm like, I'm having fun with it, and I got like two other people that I was playing with, but I want to play with you and Nick again
Yeah.
because
No,
that'd be a
dude,
lot of fun.
it's funny enough when I was streaming last night, I was literally Nick and I were joking about like when are we getting on Apex? Because I I feel like I've like asked and I'm just like it's like the stars have not aligned. Like and it's like
No,
I just want to play. I do want to play with you guys again because it was a lot of fun last time. So hopefully we can get some games in soon, but who knows, man?
yeah,
Schedules are crazy.
yeah, it's no kidding, man. Outside of those games, it's like I've been meaning to get on. I mean, we got some decent games coming out this month that I want to check out. But really, I need to get back into racing games. I've been wanting to check out Forza Horizon 5 again. I played that for like a handful of hours, but I want to like progress further into it. They had a they had a significant issue when the game first came out, when my buddy and I were trying to play together and like race and just chill. It like when you were in a party together, you couldn't see each other, but you're in the party. And then you would try to sync up and like load into races, and then sometimes it'll kick you out. So you can never actually play with your friends.
Huh.
Yeah, I that was over. I mean, the game came out like a year ago now, it feels like.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's fixed by now. I just need to get on and go racing. That's the other thing I did on Sunday. I did the triple header. Didn't actually go to two of them, but woke up, watched Monaco, Monte Carlo Formula One
Yeah.
race. Then I went and watched the Indy 500. I watched, I think I watched a little bit of Twitch and esports, and then I finished it off by watching. I went to the Coca-Cola 600 and got
Hey.
inside the ring of NASCAR, and
Pretty
it was
sick.
like on top of an RV, like standing on top of the RV, just drinking some beers and watching the cars go around. It's kind of fun.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, it's a
Uh,
good time.
yeah, for
So
sure. Yeah, it's funny. You know, my dad used to. I think my dad and my uncle. They that was like a yearly tradition. They would go to the Coca Cola 600. Like they did that. I don't. I can't remember
yeah,
the last time they did it, but they did it for a decent while. But you know, of course, like you know, when the kids grew up and everything, they I think they stopped. But yeah.
it's a cheap race, and they sold out the grandstands. It was like the first time they sold out the grandstands in like years, man.
Oh yeah, that's
So it's
good.
like it was a lot of fun, and I was really surprised with like how lenient they were with people who were going in. Like there were a couple of times I was walking in, they weren't checking anything. They're like, yeah, go in, whatever. It's like
Oh
I was
man.
thinking, I'm like, this is so NASCAR, dude.
Yeah, that screams the South. You know.
Yep.
That's funny.
Yeah. But without further ado, this is a video game like week recap.
This is.
So what has happened this week?
Well, this week definitely it's one of those things. This week is the calm before the storm that will be like you know
Yep.
Summer Games Fest week next week. So
Yeah.
the news is gonna be crazy, especially come next Thursday, and then the following week we'll have to recap what we didn't get because it's like starts on the 9th, goes to the 10th, 11th, 12th, and so like those days are just outside of the podcast scope, so we'll have to recap those on the following week.
Yeah.
But rather unfortunate, but we will have it will be pretty banger next week. And leading into that, the first story I picked was Summer Games Fest actually revealed the lineup of over 30 participating companies that will be involved in the Summer Games Fest season, disclosing new stuff. This, of course, Jeff Keighley put out this lineup earlier this week, saying that the lineup of developers that will be at Summer Games Fest this year includes 2K, Activision, Atlas, Bandai Namco, Blubber Team, Capcom, Coffee Stain, Deep Silver, Devolver Digital, Digital Extremes, Dotemu, EA, Epic Games, Focus Entertainment, Frost Giant, Level Infinite, Mediatonic, MiHoYo, Netflix, PlayStation, Raw Fury, Samsung, Sega, Square Enix, everybody under the sun, Skybound, Steam even is gonna have some stuff. MDHR Studio, Tribeca Festival, best known for the film festival, I think, but they also do games, of course. And then Warner Bros. Games, and Xbox, no less. Quite the lineup. Bethesda also included, you know, with the Xbox stuff, of course. There's also a little graphic that was posted on Twitter of every single logo there. Very, very exciting stuff. And it's almost funny because like they don't show Bethesda, but I guess it's under the umbrella of Xbox now, right? So it's just Xbox like just encompasses that entire thing. But yeah, a lot of stuff. PlayStation, of course, the partnership. For those that don't know, we'll be covering a little later in this episode. The state of play was today, kind of PlayStation sort of kicking off this season. Pretty interesting games too that were shown off. It was very short. It's only a 30-minute presentation, but that was the kickoff today, I'd say, of Summer Games Fest. So exciting stuff already out the gate. But yeah, it's looking pretty good, Mike. I mean, there's a decent amount of studios here. I mean, leading into anything, I know we talked last week. If there was like anything you thought in particular that that you were kind of predicting to see in the coming week, I don't know if you had some time to think about that, or if you had anything you wanted to talk about.
Jeez, man, I couldn't really think of anything in particular. I've noticed a bit of a trend going on with how there's going to be like tons and tons of open world games keep happening.
Yeah,
Like every game has an open world segment to it. So I think the industry as a whole is going to start going in that direction. So maybe like a single player game that's traditionally either like a first person or third person shooter that's going to go into an open world style and just follow that trend that's been going on for like the last 5 years.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Maybe a God of War open world.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, the last God of War was kind of more or less. I think it had an open world aspect to it, right?
Yeah.
And they're definitely gonna, improve upon and use that as well in the sequel. So, um,
Yeah, true. What
but
about
yeah,
you? What do you think?
there was actually one prediction I had, because when I was looking through the list here, one that stood out to me was Deep Silver. Honestly, obviously, Deep Silver, I think one of the biggest IPs they've had in the past, 5-10 years was Dead Island. I don't know if you ever played Dead Island. Um,
It's the zombie game, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a zombie game.
they have two of them, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. So they have Dead Island and then Dead Island Riptide, which is kind of like a
Okay.
shorter like spinoff. But in 2014, I was looking into this, and I had to remind myself when this was. In 2014, they announced Dead Island 2. They said it was on the way. They're like they had a trailer for it at E3. It was like everyone was hyped for it. And then
Okay.
I'd say like probably a year later, we didn't really hear anything on it. 2 years later, not much on it. Um, and eventually the studio that was originally developing it got transferred to another studio, and I can't remember the reason why, but it's one of those things. It's like it got transferred to another studio, and then like a year or two after that, it got transferred to another studio. This is all under the Deep Silver umbrella, by the way. So it's like it's just getting transferred to these like
It's like
these smaller
satellite.
yeah, like it just keeps getting transferred. 2019, I think, was the last time we heard like that transfer happened, and they said it's still in development, it's still coming. But we haven't heard anything since 2019, and it's now 2022. From what
Yeah.
we hear, that IP is still very much going to come. So I don't know. I'll be curious to see next week. That would be like if Dead Island 2 got announced of like, okay, it's on the way, it's here. Like that would be the surprise for me. I think that's kind of like one of my predictions going into it. Who knows? May not happen, but I think it's kind of a sidewinder type of prediction. I'll be
Yeah, you're I think that actually should count because you're right. They had an E3 trailer back in 2014 for Dead
yeah,
Island 2,
yeah.
and we haven't heard it. That's probably the safest guess, I think. Or
Mm,
safest prediction.
yeah. Yeah, it's been through development hell to say the least since
Yeah.
2014. So, um, here's to hoping that we hear something this year, because I know the past couple of years have been kind of like it's been in the back of my mind. You just haven't heard anything on it, so maybe now's the time. Uh, that's certainly something I'm looking forward to, and hopefully next Thursday we'll hear something. I feel like if we hear anything about that, it'll probably be at the actual like main showcase. So
Yeah. I I think another easy prediction is Netflix is on this list. So possibly another story to TV adaptation,
oh yeah,
possibly.
possibly.
I
Yeah,
can I can see that coming along.
yeah,
You know what would actually be a pretty cool one is Red Dead Redemption
yeah. Oh yeah,
going
for
to a
sure.
TV version. I think that would be big. Kind of reminds me of like Westworld,
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
grimy Western feel. I mean, that has a completely different storyline, but I'm just talking about like the aesthetic, like the
yeah.
atmosphere, environment.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll be curious to see about Netflix. I mean, of course, they're working on games too. I think it was like They were working on like mobile games last time I heard or something
Mhm.
like that. So they're definitely trying to tap into games, but there is like a lot of TV adaptations coming, like Resident Evil being the biggest one I think right now. That's coming out of Netflix Camp is so and that's coming in July. So
Nice.
very soon. But yeah, it's I'll be curious to see what they have to offer at this year's showcase.
Definitely. Oh, before we move on, you reminded me with the mobile games, okay? So I was taking a look at like just doing research about a good tablet and stuff,
Yeah.
or just going back to the coaching stuff. I was thinking maybe using a tablet as like an assistant. And tablets, you can play games on it. We've talked so many times on this podcast about how mobile games and the growth of the mobile games keeps going up, and like revenue numbers, everything's pointing towards mobile games being the future. Does tablets count as a mobile game?
You know,
I
I
would
would
think so,
yeah,
right?
I mean I would think so. Yeah. Because I know, like,
'Cause
for
you
me, like when I was playing Clash Clans, like I would always like play on my
Mhm.
phone. But I know the second, like me and my buddies were like, wait, like why are we playing this on a phone? We just get like a cheap like Amazon tablet, and it would be like the big screen for a reasonable price, and you had all
Yeah,
this real estate, and it made like wars and stuff easier. Like, yeah, I think it counts. That's just me. Like,
yeah. I was thinking about it. It's like because tablets are. I was looking at the specs. I mean, like they're basically computers. Like, I mean, your phone is basically a computer now.
yeah,
So, what makes it mobile and what makes it not? I guess that you can like literally take it somewhere. So,
yeah,
literally mobile, take it in the literal sense,
yeah,
then it would apply. But if you plug that sucker up and then use the keyboard, I mean, you can get some with like mice in it or
yeah,
mouse in it.
yeah,
Mice,
sure.
yeah, rodents in it. But
Yeah.
that's just my little like 2 cents.
No,
So
I would agree with that. I think that counts. So, and it's certainly if I'm playing a mobile game, I'd rather have the bigger real estate anyway, of a bigger screen.
yeah,
So it
agreed.
counts to me.
Yeah.
Uh, anyways, moving on. We heard more info this week. I like to think it's part of Summer Games Fest. I don't think it is. I think it's just Nintendo being Nintendo. But we heard more about the upcoming Pokemon games coming out later this year. The next entry in the series, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Um, these are the newer entries. There's actually a video here. I will kind of let this roll as we talk, but essentially, again, I think it's an open world Pokemon game. It is. It seems like a Pokemon game like I'd want to check out. I mean, I know they've kind of like done that with the previous ones, to a certain extent. But I mean, not only is this like an open world game, but they also show it, especially in the trailer here, that it is 4-player co-op on top of that. So I
That's
know
new.
I know co-op from Nintendo games can sometimes be kind of like but if they do it right, I mean, dude, this is gonna go insane. Like, and they show like the new starters, of course, and everything. They starter Pokemon look adorable, and the legendaries look sick, by the way, when they show those. But yeah, it's very much seems like they're kind of taking the open world like 3D, and they're bringing it to the Switch, and it looks like it'll be good. I mean, I know we had talked about the Pokemon games we played in the past last time we talked about this. Um, but I'm I'm forgetting your experience with Pokemon, Mike. Like, how much experience did you have, especially like maybe with the older games?
Well, the older games, I had a Game Boy, and I grew up. I have a ton of the original cards from the original sets.
Yeah,
So I was pretty much into it. But the thing that really got me into gaming is I always played like sports and stuff. So I didn't really, and we didn't have the money to have like all the video games, but my neighbor did, and he had all of the games. So the majority of the games that I played were through him, and I've also watched them. So it's like collectively, I've probably beaten all of Pokemon Red
nice.
and like Blue and Yellow. So I'm pretty familiar with it, but I haven't really like I even watched all the shows too. So it's like pretty big. I think one of my favorite games was Pokemon Stadium because that was on N64 and you could use the cartridge slots to plug into your controller for the Game Boy, and then you can use your Pokemon to actually face each other in Pokemon Stadium. It was nuts.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I have a pretty good knowledge and experience of it. Not so much recently. I think we've talked about this previously when like Pokemon Go was like popping off and they announced more and more Pokemon games coming out, like Pokemon Unite we really talked about.
yeah.
But This is really cool. I'm gonna be paying attention to it, but like you said, the co-op could be very interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
is this the legendary Pokemons on the screen?
Yes, these are legendaries. I mean, unfortunately, our cam's kind of blocking the right one, but maybe if
That looks
I
tough.
do
That looks
this,
so
yeah,
tough.
see it. But yeah, so you see, you see this like purple yellow guy right here with like rockets for legs, and then you got homie over here in orange and like the white like horn antennas with the
Oh,
feathers and stuff. It
geez.
looks pretty sick.
Okay, so they're trying to go with new generation, basically.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's a good
Um,
idea. Man, they look tough.
dude, it look good, man. It's yeah, this I think for me anyway, when I see like a Pokemon like when I see these new Pokemon games like in these open worlds kind of in this 3D like atmosphere, it like makes me think, and by the way, worldwide release, let me back it up. Worldwide release on November 18th of this year is when it's coming out. Um but when I see these games, it makes me think like they're trying to appeal to like an audience that maybe wasn't interested in Pokemon or maybe like didn't play any of the previous games. At least that's kind of my hope, and I think this style of game appeals to just the general gamer a little bit more than like maybe even the older games. Although the older games are they are the greats, right? Like they're the OGs, but I don't know. Like just looking at this as someone who didn't really play many Pokemon games, I think I definitely want to give this a shot, especially if it has co-op, so you can like hop in with friends.
So you've never played any of the originals?
I played. I think last one I played maybe was I think Diamond, and I don't know if I played Pearl, but I played Diamond. Maybe Diamond and Pearl. I can't remember if it was together or not. But that was the last one I played. It was on I think the DS. I think it was the last thing I played it on. That was like time
Jeez, that
ago.
was ages ago.
Yeah, I played a little bit of
Um,
that, but I didn't get super into it. I think I only played like a few hours. Um, yeah, that
I
was really
I
it. I didn't play any of
wonder.
the Game Boy games or anything.
I'm curious what the difference is between the Scarlet version and the Violet version.
Yeah, I think overall, like I guess depending on what version you get, you like get that legendary whatever at the end. I don't know. I'm not super like into those games. I thought if I remember correctly, that was kind of the main difference with the games. Is like the type of Pokemon you can get. Again, I'm not the expert though, so I'd lean on you for that.
Oh yeah, you're right. So they're two different games, um, and good old. I'm gonna give them credit. Twinfinite.net. I'm gonna. Yeah, they actually published this today. So shout out Google for sending me a recent article. Uh, so the difference is apparently is the legendary Pokemon. So you are correct there. There are different professors. Your starting outfits are different. There are different school insignias. And that seems to be the only differences we know about so far, according to this article.
Yeah,
So seems pretty classic, I think.
yeah, for
I
sure.
mean, the graphics look awesome, and I swear to you, I really think that Nintendo Switch the last 2 to 3 years has been dishing out nothing but great games.
Oh,
E-
bangers,
even
dude.
even grabbing games from like PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. I mean, they're adding more and more. It's not just like Nintendo exclusives anymore.
Yeah,
They come in. They come in. So,
they're coming hot. They're coming hot,
yeah,
sir. But yeah, not too many more details I don't think of the Pokemon games, but from what we've seen in the trailer, it looks good. So definitely, if I have friends that get it, I'll probably hop on, get it, play me a Pokemon game. Looking pretty dang good.
I'm excited.
Excited too,
I might just go play it just for old time's sake.
for sure. You know what else I'm excited for though, Mike? I
Ooh, tell me.
think Amazon's out here trying to switch up the console buying system to
Yes, they
tailor
are.
to more people and less bots, which sounds pretty good. This article comes from Gadget saying Amazon takes on PS5 and Xbox scalpers with a new invite system. The goal is to help legitimate shoppers get their hands on in-demand products. But read kind of the top. A couple paragraphs here from the article. Amazon's trying to fend off scalpers and bots that snag all the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X consoles before you can secure one. It's rolling out an invite-based ordering option for high-demand products that are in low supply to help legitimate shoppers get their hands on the items. The invite option is available now for PS5 in the US. It will be enabled for Xbox Series X in the coming days. The company told TechCrunch it plans to use the system for more products and in other countries. Requesting an invitation doesn't cost anything, and you don't need to be a Prime member. When you visit the PS5 page on Amazon, there's now a request invitation button. You can may need to click on new and used link to see it alongside the other ordering options. And they kind of show an image of it in the article. So right next to the new, you have a invitation option, so you can, I guess, join the queue. Seems to be, I have a feeling this is probably going to be pretty similar to, they even said here, it's a similar system to PlayStation Direct site. I'm assuming probably availability is probably going to be kind of the same too. Like you request to get that invite, you may not get it in the first or second or third wave after you request, but eventually whenever you're next up in line, they'll notify you and you can secure one. Because I think I want to say I joined the PlayStation, or I requested an invite on the PlayStation site directly, but don't believe I've gotten an invite since, and that was a couple months ago I applied. So it's still a little hard to get, but I think Amazon doing this option will certainly going to prevent scalpers, right? I think it's going to be one of the more effective ways I think of doing it. So kudos to Amazon for taking this on. But I mean, what do you think, Mike? You think more people are going to get their hands on these consoles?
For sure. I do think so. I mean, you're not going to prevent scalping. Just 100%, you're not going to prevent it. The big thing is like they're just trying to make it easier. Like not easier, sorry, harder for scalpers, easier for actual customers that want to use the product without having to pay extra. They just want to pay retail pricing. So it's a good idea. I'm kind of surprised they haven't tried it or done this sooner.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't know why, because I feel like it's almost a no-brainer, but
it's like consoles aren't the only things that get scalped this hard.
Yeah, definitely not.
It should be high ticket items that have they got to have some type of percentage basis to understand what ticket items are in high demand,
Oh yeah.
Where you can get high scalping items, if that's such a thing.
Yeah. I mean, they got to have the data, right? They have to, so.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to be implemented across the site anyway, right? So consoles are the first, but more stuff will get added.
Yeah. And then probably shoes second.
Probably
sneaks, high end sneaks. I don't even think you can buy high end sneaks and
I was gonna say
in that kind of setup.
Yeah, I don't know.
Centers and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how much Amazon is in the shoe market or anything like that, because I feel like a lot of that you either buy on the site direct or you're buying on eBay.
So it's pretty cool. Apparently one of these commenters 6 hours ago said Microsoft is now selling the Xbox Series X new and refurbished on a $30 discount on their website. Wow. So you can still buy direct on the websites as well.
Yeah.
So
I know Xboxes, maybe we talked about it before, Xboxes are more available than PlayStations.
They are.
When they become available, they actually stay available for, sometimes a few days. So demand's starting to kind of creep down, but PlayStation, man, it's still I still subscribe to the tweet notifications for for those deals whenever they go on, and it's they're few and far between, and again they sell out almost instantly every time. So it's PlayStation still catching up, but Xbox is doing all right, at least I guess.
Yeah, and Nintendo Switch as well.
Oh yeah,
they're selling like hotcakes, man. Saw a headline article earlier talking about how it was one of the highest selling consoles, definitely in Japan, but in all of Nintendo's history, which is wild. So future's bright.
Yeah, and funny enough, you bring up the Switch. I swear, I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I was at my local Walmart. I saw some Switches. I saw, believe it or not, some Animal Crossing Switches in the case, and I was very surprised. For retail price, I was like, wow. I mean, Switches are readily available in my area at least.
Same in mine, actually. I went to Target a couple of weeks ago, and they had it pretty much the whole bottom level was filled up with Nintendo Switch,
Yeah.
and then on the other side, they had, like, 2 Xboxes at most. They didn't even have, like, a PlayStation section.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, the
The only thing,
PlayStation was, like,
dude,
gone.
yeah, the only thing in the PlayStation section, controllers, like cards, membership cards, and that's
Oh,
and
yep.
games, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like
No
you ain't
consoles.
finding a console.
Headsets.
Yeah.
They do have headsets, like Turtle Beach and, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Astros. So,
Yeah, they always have those. They never
mhm.
I don't think they ever have Astros though. I don't know if I've ever seen Astros in retail stores. Maybe I'm
Oh,
tripping.
yeah, they're yeah, you're tripping for sure because 'cause they're 100%,
They
in
are
the
they in
Xbox section at Target.
oh, they're at Target? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Target,
Maybe I
go
think of
there.
Walmart.
I don't think maybe. Walmart is kinda dependent on the area you're in.
Yeah.
So if you're in an area in Walmart where it's like nobody really buys electronics from the store, they won't have it stocked.
Yeah. Which makes sense.
So, yeah. Like, sometimes Walmarts can be, like, heavily clothing, and then a ton of, like, food is the other section, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But hopefully you can get a PS5. For those listening that are struggling, this is this is good news. Go sign
Yeah.
up for the request an invitation. You will get picked soon enough. I promise. Kind of. Um the other
Well,
who,
real quick.
okay, okay.
Oh, okay, sorry. The invitation option is only available in PS5 and USA, just to remind people.
Mm,
So, sorry
very
to
true.
yeah, sorry to our companions overseas. You kinda SOL. Best of luck to you.
One day they're gonna roll it out to more countries, they said, so
Yeah.
definitely be a little more worldwide sooner, hopefully, than later.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, sorry to
good
cut
point.
you off, sir.
No, that was a very good point.
Just wanted to do a reminder.
Yeah, very very important disclaimer. um, Next we have Sonic Frontiers. There was a small teaser trailer that showed off a little gameplay earlier this week. And for those that don't know what Sonic Frontiers is, I mean, for those watching the video, I'm going to show the brief little 40-second trailer here. But for those that are not watching, it's essentially, and I've seen this thrown around a lot online, it is the Breath of the Wild of Sonic. You know what Zelda Breath of the Wild is? Everybody's been saying it. I'm sure Sega hates it, but here we are. I mean, if you look at the trailer, I mean, the open world that Sonic is running around in, I mean, it's very, very green. There's a lot of trees. It's very colorful. It just reminds me of Breath of the Wild. Like, I don't know. I mean, they did it to themselves, Mike. I think's what I'm saying. You know. Um,
Yeah.
but
How
however,
do you feel about it?
I mean, it's a little teaser, right? But I mean, from what I can see, it's like, I mean, if you like Breath of the Wild, if you like that style of open world, I think that's what they're trying to do with Sonic. So I mean, it could hit, it could miss, right? But I think at least from the teaser I'm seeing now, it's looking promising. I'd be curious to see more gameplay and whatnot, but at least from a little bit they've shown, it seems fluid. I don't know, it's exciting.
I
I think.
I think it's gonna be a hit, but I think it's gonna be a hit because people are gonna expect something that's not really gonna be there. This just looks like to me a 3D version of the classic Sonic game, right?
Yeah,
Just like running around trying to get from one point to another, capture all the coins you possibly can, defeat a boss.
yeah,
I think it's gonna like for me, that's exactly what I want. But I've also played Sonic forever. I think Sonic might have been one of my first ever games. So it's
yeah.
like I'm really excited. I want to check this out. But I think the modern audience might not be for them. But it's also like a 40-second clip. We got to see some more before I start
That's what I'm
going
saying.
on these pretty
Yeah,
serious like the critical reviews. But there are a couple of like quick little segments I'm seeing from classic Sonic games like Sonic Heroes, Sonic the Hedgehog like 3, I think it was, 2 or 3. Um I'm all for it, man. I'm all for Sega coming back, you know,
um,
like strong. So,
yeah, I am too. I mean, it says here too that it's pretty much coming out on everything. It's coming
yeah,
out
it
on
is.
PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, the VCR itself, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So I mean, it's literally everything. Like,
You said the VCR.
I mean, am I wrong, Mike? Am I wrong?
That
Yeah,
you're
you're good.
not.
I have an Xbox
Xbox.
One at my feet. I can't. It's plugged in, so I'm not gonna like hassle and pull it up. But I mean,
And you're not wrong.
it looks like a set top box. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is. You know.
The Xbox VCR coming to stores now.
Like, I mean, it even had a TV output. That was like the whole. Remember the promotion for it? It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
it's big on
yeah.
TV. Like, you could hook up your TV and just click a button on your console and watch TV. It's like so stupid.
And then everybody hated them.
Yeah, and then they switched completely, and now they're on top, baby. Game Pass. You know what I'm saying?
That's basically what they did.
But hmm. Anyways, I don't know. From the 40 seconds, the gameplay looks fun, but just have to see more, you know, before we can give a solid rating on this. Um,
I'm looking forward to it. I'll tell you right now.
yeah, definitely. Doesn't seem like there's a release date. Very unfortunate. I guess we'll find out. I'm assuming probably 2023. That would be my guess, but
Yeah, I think we're getting to that point where when we see new trailers for games, if they don't mention the date, then it's definitely coming out like next year at the earliest,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
2024 at the latest, probably.
yeah, yeah, we're
Oh
in
man,
June now.
yeah, no,
So
we're
if they're
halfway
not
through
giving a date,
2022.
like, see you in 3 years. Like,
See you in 2025. You better have Unreal 5. All right, you better. It ain't doing Unreal 5. You're tripping. Oh.
I think we need to start doing like a counter for every time we bring up Unreal 5 for a new game.
It's just I haven't been this hype for an engine in my whole life, I think. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I've never thought about the engine to a game, but then I've gotten older, I see all these trailers, and then all this hype for Unreal 5 has been like kind of bleeding into the mainstream. It's like they're doing it right. They're hyping it up. I give it to them.
You know, before we move on to the next topic, because I'm really excited about the next topic as well. It was sticking with the theme of Nintendo, but what would you rather have? Would you rather have a great looking game like Unreal Engine 5 with like everything, it almost looks real. It passes for a game, but it has like fundamental issues, or like the game has maybe desync issues online, or button like components and like key bindings or anything like that is just kind of wonky. It doesn't feel smooth at all. Or would you rather have a game that's like super smooth, super fluid, but it looks like it came off the original Nintendo?
I mean, I'm telling you right now, especially after all the crap we've seen in the industry over the past couple of years,
That's why I'm bringing it up.
graphics don't mean anything, Mike. I'm gonna say it here. I'm gonna say it right now. Graphics don't mean anything. If I have a game that runs like complete dog crap, I hate to say it, but I ain't hopping on it.
It's good.
Or like
Yeah, I'm on that.
well, if it looks like complete dog crap and plays really well, I'm all over it. But you know, if a game looks glorious graphically, that doesn't hold up if the game runs terribly. You know, it just doesn't. So
Yeah, I'm right there
yeah,
with you.
definitely on the ladder there. If the graphics weren't the best, but the gameplay was the most fluid around, yeah, I'm playing that game more. It's just that's how it is.
Not even just, I guess for simple terms, like 240p resolution or like 8K resolution.
Yeah,
That's the level of like graphics.
yeah. Which 240, dude. I'll be looking at 5 pixels on my screen total, and as long as it plays well, I'm chilling. I don't need no 8,000 million, pixels per inch. I don't need that. Just give me just give, just, just give me the piece of crap if it runs well. It can look bad and run well, and I'm playing it.
Yeah, the best looking one is like a polished turd.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like it's literally like it's what it is when you get a game that's like insane. It's like I don't know, but like Unreal 5, I'm sure like it'll perform well, it'll look great and perform well, especially if you have the right hardware. But like I'm sure
Yeah,
we're gonna
that's
see a
the
lot of
battle, I think.
yeah. I mean, we're gonna see a lot of stuff though. I think, especially early on, that's gonna be like, oh, this game looks amazing, and then it just like is unplayable, and you're just like, yeah, never mind. Give me the Unreal Engine 3. I don't care. This is terrible.
Play for 30 minutes and it crashes. It's like, okay, I'm moving on.
Yeah, I know. I mean, here's the hoping, since they released it, they, got a lot of the kinks out, but it's one of those things until we see games with it, we're not going to be able to say, one way or the other.
All right, so speaking of Nintendo, hit me with it.
Speaking of Nintendo, the first U.S. Super Nintendo World is set to open in, quote, early 2023 with the Mario Kart AR ride, Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood. Hollywood will include the signature ride. It said signature ride we tried at the Japan location. There's a little video here. Only 30 seconds. I haven't watched it, but no audio, of course. I have the audio turned off, but I mean, as you can see, you're in a Mario Kart. You know, like you're there. You know,
it looks so sick.
It does look sick. I mean, it's like oh, dude, come on. If you're listening,
watching it,
dude, if you're listening, you have to go and watch it. It's very brief, but like, it's essentially, you're just playing IRL Mario Kart. It's kind of sick. Of course, you're on like you're like on a predefined path, but still, like, I think it looks kind of cool. It's definitely something I'd want to check out. I mean, I don't know. I went to Universal Orlando when I was younger. Trying to think how long ago that was. Gosh, probably like 10 years, honestly. It's been a while. And Disney even longer than that. I think I went to Disney when I was a kid, like a child, like toddler. It was probably the last time my parents took me to Disney at like 4, I think. I don't know if I've been back since. 20 years. Hate to see it.
Yeah.
But,
it's been about that long for me too. Maybe 15. I think.
Hey, this might be the excuse, Mike.
This is definitely an excuse.
Especially,
well, this is in Hollywood, California, is it not?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
It's over in Hollywood.
Or
Maybe
is it
excuse
Hollywood
to
or
go to the West Coast for a little bit.
I mean, I'm down. The reason why I was excited about it is it reminds me of Pirates of the Caribbean ride on Disney. I don't know if you knew this, but the Pirates of the Caribbean ride was before the movies, so they had no concept of the movies whatsoever. And it just started with the ride, and the way the ride works is you're like on a predetermined path going through everything. It's like you're seeing all the pirate stuff and kind of cool. I like what they're doing here though, is because it's on that predetermined track and path, but you're like trying to drive and you're like, it's a family experience and a bonding kind of thing. And it looks awesome. I'm curious what it's like at Super Nintendo World in Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, more and more video games coming to amusement parks. I'm all for that.
Yeah, for sure. And Japan goes all out. I mean, Japan goes all out. You know what I'm saying?
I need to go to Japan. That's going to be the next big trip that I make overseas, I think.
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
I don't know any Japanese, but we're going.
We're going, man. Going. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try to go there too, I think, at some point. But I mean, it's an AR ride, right? So if you look at like the photos and stuff, they're all wearing like those goggles. So I mean, there's like an added element to it, right? Which makes it even more exciting. But yeah, dude, exciting stuff. I think I'll be definitely excited to see, as it gets built and it gets a little closer, and maybe even at some point checking out, see if I can find a video of the Japan ride and see what that was like.
I'm sure it's nuts.
Yeah,
you know what I'm excited for? They're gonna have people dressed up as Mario, Luigi, and maybe Wario walking around Princess Peach.
Waluigi, dare I say?
Oh, no shot. Nintendo hates Waluigi. No shot. Waluigi's still not getting love in any of the Mario games.
Crazy. Blasphemy, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
Unreal.
So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be exciting to see. I think it's time, though, for top story, Mike.
Yeah, hit me with it.
It's time.
The state of play.
The state of play.
Yes, sir.
Everyone saw a little show notes there for a second, but that's okay. Saw a little behind the scenes. Anyway. Anyway. I had to actually pull up the state of play video on my main YouTube account because it is age restricted. And we'll get to why I think it's probably age restricted in the coming games we see. But I'll just kind of show off here. I'm gonna full screen on my side. Kind of just run through the games real quick. State of play opened up, Mike. It immediately opened up with the date. As you can see, March 24th, 2023. We didn't know what it was. I'm going to skip a little bit past this. But it is actually the Resident Evil 4 remake. They started the state of play off with this trailer. Boom, right there. Just with a date.
Take it.
they started with a date and said, "All right, we showed you a date, but here's the game that's coming with it." The Resident Evil 4 remake shown right off the bat. I was very excited for this. I knew we'd known this has been in the works since
Yeah.
3 came out. They came out shortly after that and said they're working on 4. And that was 2 years ago, which is crazy to think about, but it's already been 2 years. And next year we're getting it. So it's about right. I think with all these remakes, it's been taking about 3 years. I think 20 beginning of 2019 was 2, middle of 2020 I guess was 3. 3 was a shorter game though. The third remake was very short. It was kind of like a very condensed version of the original. So it definitely made that game quick. But it seems like they've been taking their time with 4, and also of course they've worked on Resident Evil 7 and 8. 8 was of course between the third remake, and 8 was very Resident Evil Village was fantastic. So Resident Evil 4, just also a little backstory. I know, especially when this game was announced for a remake, a lot of people were scratching their heads, especially in the Resident Evil community, of like, why is this being remade? It's been ported on everything. The graphics aren't that old; they still kind of hold up, like especially in the remasters. So it's like, what's the point here? But I think overall, they wanted to. I know the studio doesn't really. The studio hesitates to call these remakes. I don't even think they coin them as remakes. They just kind of like say like, here's Resident Evil 4, and it's kind of a reimagining kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, regardless, I don't know. Everyone says it's a remake, and I agree. It's kind of just like you're remaking the game, which is fine. But yeah, this started off the state of play. It's Resident Evil 4 remake. I don't know. What do you think, Mike? Did you play
I'm
2 or 3 in those remakes?
I probably have watched Resident Evil more than I've actually played the game. So,
Yeah.
have that bit said, like, for whatever reason, I never got big into horror games. I'm like, I love horror movies, absolutely love them, and
Yeah.
like slashers too and stuff. But I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself right now because you asking that question triggered like, no, I haven't like really played Resident Evil. I've
Yeah.
watched tons of gameplay of like, but I mean, I'm not going to be the best to like comment on these horror games because of that fact.
Yeah.
But I know how good the IP is. I know how good the stories are, and I'm sure this is going to be really exciting. And because it's a like a reimagined, as you put it, or a remake, I think I this might be a good one for me to get started with.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a release date there. I'm sure. I suspect they'll actually be able to stick with this. I don't. I doubt there's gonna be a delay from Capcom on this, especially since they've been working on it for so long. So this release date doesn't surprise me. I'm pretty confident they'll land it. Um, but they also announced pretty shortly after that, PSVR 2 content is also in development for Resident Evil 4. Very exciting stuff
Yeah,
there. There's
and it
also
looks
yeah. There's also in development for PSVR 2 is Resident Evil Village. It's getting a VR version, and it looks pretty
yeah,
cool. They showed a little bit of it. It's kind of like it seems to be like an interesting take on it too, because at one point in this, like you can kind of dual wield guns and stuff, and you can like have your knife and your gun out, and like you see the character kind of like actually like throw and flip hands. It's really sick. So it's like you could change it on the fly and stuff. Yeah, very cool. So Resident Evil Village coming to VR. Um, I think the next game was another entry in I believe it was the Walking. It's like the Walking Dead VR. Another entry in
yes,
that Walking Dead VR. So looks very interesting. Very VR. Definitely very VR like with like the movements of the arms and stuff. Yeah, Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution. That looked pretty interesting. I never played the first one, so that is slated for this year. Very interesting stuff. And next up, I know you've talked about this before, Mike. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is seems to be getting a PSVR 2 port, so you'll be able to play No Man's Sky in PSVR 2.
I'm really excited about this. I love flight simulators where you can do VR.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I feel like this is the game for it, to like really showcase
oh,
VR. So
oh yeah, 1000%. This is definitely it. They also Star Wars Squadrons has VR as well,
yeah,
and I think it might be time for us to upgrade and get a VR headset
yeah,
and just start doing. doing some of these like, I mean, No Man's Sky. Have you played No Man's Sky yet?
I have not. So VR would I think be a good introduction to
That would be the perfect introduction because there are animals or like there are creatures, I should say, that pop out of nowhere
that.
in the game that are like, and the audio sounds really cool because it's like you're in space, but you're in like you're on a planet, but you're in a suit, so you can kind of hear things. It's muffled, but you can like when things are underground. Like they did a little sneak peek. There's like the giant flying serpent that jumps up and down like it's from Dune with no like gravity. It's nuts. So
That's
if you see
crazy.
one of those in VR, you're probably gonna freak out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Continuing with the VR stuff, they did kind of the VR stuff at the beginning, which was interesting. I thought they were gonna because they mentioned beforehand they were gonna showcase VR games, but I mean, everyone assumed I think it was gonna be towards the end. But they did show some more gameplay of the Horizon Forbidden West VR spin-off type thing.
Mhm.
So they showed some stuff of that. I feel like this is going to be kind of like one of the flagship games that they're going to ship with a headset. Um,
Yeah.
and it's definitely developed specifically for PSVR, PSVR 2. They also, on top of that, announced for Horizon Forbidden West, they dropped a major update today that you can download, which adds bigger difficulties, new game plus. There's even a transmog system for the in-game armor, a skill reset. So pretty much like a good reason to dive back into that game if you've been looking for a reason to jump back and check it out. So that launched today on Horizon Forbidden
That's pretty
West.
sick.
Pretty
It,
dope. I love those like today drops that they do, or like today go
yeah.
download this. So pretty sick.
Let me ask you this. Have you played Horizon Forbidden
I have
Forest or anything like that?
I have not played Forbidden West, and I have not played the first one. And the first one's on
Okay.
PC, so
Yeah, that
seems
might be something to check. I've been meaning to check it out for a while. There's always been a good game or like a big title that is released on the same date that prevented me kind of because like I don't have the attention span to go
yeah,
through multiple story-driven games at once.
yeah.
Uh, I yeah, that's just who I am. But let me ask you this: is is Forza Horizon is it a third person point of view game?
Horizon, yes, it is a, third person kind of style. Um, so it's
So
similar to
that's
like
pretty.
most of their for most of like Sony's first party stuff. I feel like a lot of it's like kind of third person over the shoulder. Like it
Yeah,
was God of
that's what I
War,
thought.
Last of Us.
Exactly, that's what I thought it was too. So the VR being first person is actually pretty sick for
Yeah,
people that are like big into the story and they want to like immerse themselves as the character. And
yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
yeah, for sure. And we kind of talked over it, but one of the biggest one of the biggest things I think that came out of this was they announced what Sony game is coming next to PC, and to a lot of people's surprise, they announced the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man games are coming. So the Spider-Man 2018 that came out on PS4, that's coming out on PC, and then Miles Morales is coming later on in the fall to PC. That was 2 years ago that game came out, Miles Morales, almost 2 years, and it's already coming to PC. Um, and no less, it's the Spider-Man remaster. The first one's coming on August 12th, so just literally a couple months away.
Oh
Um,
jeez.
you can play Spider-Man on PC. Um, and then
I'm so excited.
they didn't mention here, but it was mentioned in the blog post after that Miles Morales will follow in the fall. You can play that on PC as well. So both the Spider-Man games, who they've already sold like millions of copies just on the console
Yeah.
alone, and now it's coming to PC. It's like Insomniac's trying to make so much money. um, but yeah,
That's
so
got me so excited because like I I don't have a PlayStation. So what I've been doing, and I do this with a lot of PlayStation games because I don't have a PlayStation. Story-driven games, I will literally go on YouTube and watch the cutscenes like it's a movie.
yeah,
So like I've already seen like Spider-Man gameplay, and I'm like, dude, I get to do some web shooter stuff and fly across the entire world. I was doing that. I think what game? I can't remember which game it was. It was like a really super popular super uh Spider-Man game. I think it might have been on GameCube, where you could like soar around Manhattan,
yeah,
and it was such a cool game, and I just love that. And I
yeah,
see the gameplay in that, and I'm like, you could do that too, man. It's gonna be sick.
dude.
So
I'll tell you right now, the web slinging in this game and like the one that came out on PS4
yeah,
is the
I heard
best
it's the
in any
best.
Spider game, any
Yeah.
Spider-Man game. It's the best. I like it's dude. It's so good, Mike.
I
I can't.
heard it. I heard it's
Yeah.
so fluid, so nice.
It is, man. This is like a masterpiece of a game, I have to say. So the fact that it's coming to PC, you get those higher refresh rates, you get the better settings, you get the keyboard mouse if you really want to, you know.
I'm doing it.
God, the combat's so good too. It's all around such a good game. I highly would recommend, especially if you're into Spider-Man. Um, but yeah, I haven't played Miles Morales, and if I don't get a PS5 by then, I can play that on PC, which is exciting. So we'll see. But yeah, that was the biggest kind of PC announcement. I know a lot of people have been. There's been like a running joke, like when is Bloodborne coming to PC? Because like everyone wants that game to come to PC so bad. It's like the 30
Yeah,
FPS on that is just like it's killer. So everyone wants that on PC, but unfortunately, we did not hear anything. At least this state of play.
yeah. I've heard so many jokes about that, and like I'm not even in that kind of PlayStation bubble of Bloodborne.
Yeah,
It's like everybody wants it.
I know. So maybe another time. But there was the next game they showed off was a game called Stray. This is actually a AAA third party game. You're essentially a cat in a cyberpunk esque universe,
Yeah,
and you're just like running around fighting. Like it's like the most adorable thing ever. But it seems very interesting. And the kind of key takeaway from this one is that it looks like a really fun game, but the biggest thing is they announced after the trailer that it is going to be available day one if you are a PlayStation Plus, either the premium or the deluxe membership, or I guess like extra. I forget what the tier names are.
yeah,
But if you're in any of those that are past the first tier, you'll get day one access to this. Very exciting stuff, and it means that there will be those day one kind of gets if you do decide to go with a higher tier. But this also probably means, especially like the lowest tier, is probably not going to be that worth it. It's kind of like when Game Pass came out, especially Game Pass Ultimate, kind of just like completely took Xbox Gold and just like said like, no one needs that. Just get Ultimate instead. Don't get Gold. I feel like that same thing's probably going to happen here,
hmm
but I mean, I don't know. Very exciting stuff. I'm curious to see how Sony expands upon this and adds more games, more like AAA kind of third party titles. Very interesting.
yeah. It's looking pretty cool. I really do like how these games keep adding in actual animals and making it to like a simulator. Like Goat Simulator
Yeah.
comes to mind, the duck game, the
Yeah.
goose game, I mean. And then there's I mean, what else is there? Like, I think we saw a rat simulator
Yeah, yeah, it was one where you
last
played.
week.
Yeah, it's one you played as a
Um,
rat.
maybe yeah, it was just yeah, it was an electric mouse, right?
Think so.
It
Yeah,
was it was an indie game.
yeah,
So shout out indie developers. I mean, it's wild to me,
yeah.
honestly.
It's
So
crazy.
I'm into it.
It's so funny because the next game actually looks insane. Um,
Yeah.
this is it immediately gives off Dead Space vibes. Um, and this is an IP that has been in development for a while, from my understanding. Originally, this was something that was going to be. I think it was originally funded by who's the developer for PUBG. Was it Blue Hole? I can't remember what the developer name
Uh
was.
I only know what Dr. Disrespect calls them.
Yeah, it's I it was
Let me look it up. Let me.
yeah. This game was originally funded by them, and they were developing the game under their umbrella. But then they broke off. I think it was like last month or something. It's very recent. They said they broke off from that. They're not going to be in the because they were originally going to develop it in the PUBG universe, but now it doesn't look like they're doing that anymore. Um, but essentially, it just looks like it is a very much a Dead Space s game, but it looks like just crazy. Um, Callisto is the name, Callisto Protocol. I'm sure a lot of people probably have heard of the name, especially if they've been following the project. Callisto Protocol is the game. It looks insane. The combat looks crazy. The release date is December 2nd, 2022 on this one. They show some of like the animations, and it's like so gruesome and just so like I want to play this game. Like
Oh
this
yeah,
looks so good.
it's going to be rated M for sure,
Oh,
right?
for sure. I mean, this right here, Mike, is probably why this little state of play was age restricted on YouTube. Just saying,
Absolutely, yes.
there's a lot of gore here. But
It reminds me of like old school video games, like not even old school, like 2004, 2005, when there was still like blood in Halo. It was
yeah,
like Mortal Kombat was like really big. They had a couple other like horror games and like just gory stuff, man.
yeah.
So this is kind of feels like a callback. So yeah,
Yeah, very very interesting game, and it's soon. It's the end of the year, December 2nd, so you can check it
Hmm.
out.
It looks
Um,
nuts.
looks crazy. Um, this the next game they showed looks it's called Roller Drome. Let me tell you, not dome, it's Roller Drome. And I just like you're roller skating and you're shooting people and you're doing tricks. It's like it's like a rollerblading Tony Hawk game mixed with shooting. It looks sick. Like I mean if you see the trailer, it's just like it looks insane. You're essentially just rolling around, styling on people and killing them. It's fantastic. It looks so funny and it just looks fun. Like this is definitely a game I want to check out. Um, and like the art style is sick too. It's like I mean, it just looks like the combat just looks unlike anything else I've seen. So that alone is enticing me to try to check this out when it comes out. Um, but it's just like it just looks so ridiculous. Best part, it comes out on PS4 and PS5 August 16th. Very close.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's only a few
very
months away.
close. So definitely gonna be something. I may fire up the old PS4 just to check this out. 'Cause, oh my goodness, it's pretty
It's
good.
so goofy looking,
I
but
know.
it looks perfect for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely, I think it'd be worth checking out. Um, let's see. I'm trying to see what else. There was a couple games they showed where I wasn't super crazy about. Um, oh yeah, so we saw the next entry in the Street Fighter series, Mike. Street Fighter
Oh yeah,
6.
that's
Um,
fine.
yeah, Street Fighter 6. Especially after 5, I know a lot of people, especially in the Street Fighter, like Street Fighter fans, are like, what is this for 5?" So they changed up the logo and everything. It looks just so sick. And like the kind of it looks very much like um it looked very much like Street Fighter at first. There's a point in the trailer where it looks kind of like there's like an open world aspect, or like there's kind of a mode aside from fighting that you can go and kind of just
Yeah.
explore. It looks like there's a lot to do in this game, so it's definitely I think even if you're like not in huge into like the fighting genre, it looks like there's gonna be something for everyone. Um, and yeah, it looks like a whole lot of fun. They like I said, there was that open world aspect I was talking about. But then they actually get into the fighting. It's just like it looks like just your classic Street Fighter, just like over the top, but just so good. You got Ryu, you got got everybody, you know.
Yeah, you got all the
Um,
goats.
you got Liu, you got Chun Li, like come on. But yeah, as you can see, it's that classic Street Fighter baby. So yeah, very exciting. I think, like I said before, it looks like there's a if you get this game, it's not just gonna be a fighting game. It looks like there's certainly more you can do. So I don't know. Have you did you play much of the Street Fighter games, Mike?
Man, I tried to, but every time I tried to play against other people, I just got smoked. It just whooped my butt.
Oh,
And I always asked, I was just like, hey man, can you teach me? Can you teach me? Can you teach me? That kind of stuff. They're always just like, yeah, here's like one or two moves, and then they proceed to whoop my butt. So it was like I never really owned it, never got into them. I'll watch them though,
yeah,
because it's such a cool game to watch
dude.
as
Yeah,
well.
no. Those fighters are always cool to watch, right?
Yeah,
Like
so cool.
yeah, Street Fighter's certainly no different. That logo is sick though. It's like the six and the like the hexagon looks sick. Um,
Hmm.
but that was certainly one that caught my eye. Tunic was coming to PlayStation. I believe this is on Xbox, if I'm not mistaken. But this is essentially like the little fox isometric like fighting game where you're like a little fox with a sword and the art style looks sick and you're just like running around these towers and just fighting. Um, but yeah, this is coming to PlayStation in August. It looks it looks like I don't know. It looks fun. I think I need to check it out to be honest. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it looks like a really good exploration isometric kind of game.
yeah,
It looks like they might have a good story with it too.
yeah,
I'm
for sure.
intrigued by their short like trailer
Yeah,
about for the game.
yeah. Yeah, I used to not be a huge fan of isometric, but then I played Minecraft Dungeons, which is like Minecraft's like take on
Oh
isometric.
yeah,
It was actually a lot of fun, especially if you like playing with friends.
yeah.
So
It was super popular. I'm surprised I didn't actually play it with people.
yeah, it's a lot of fun. Um, let's see. I'm gonna just skip. Yeah, we'll skip to the final kind of showcase here. This is like, this is the main game here. And to no surprise, it opened up, I guess, one of the main like studio heads for Final Fantasy 16 kind of talked about, we're making this game, it's in development, like, with everything going on in the world, we just want to make this game and just like make it good.
Yeah.
And then they proceed to show this absolutely insane like trailer after it, where it's just like showing the combat, and it's like, dude, it screams Final Fantasy to me. It's like there's just so much going on. You have like the UI's insane, and then you do all these insane combos, and it's just like a bunch of numbers flooding the screen, but like the combat just looks so sick. Oh my god. It's it's absolutely crazy. I don't know if you played much of the Final Fantasy games, Mike.
I watched all of them. Like
Did
I
you?
said, like my
Yeah.
buddy growing up, all he did was play them. So it was like he played it so much that if I wanted to hang out with him, I had to be in the room like watching him play. So
Yeah.
I know how popular they are. And I know how awesome it is.
Yeah,
So for
for sure.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy VII's like always crowned as
It-
the greatest, and then like they remade it. It's kind of yeah,
yeah.
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 So
I
but yeah,
love it.
15. It was like 15 was weird. I didn't see too much of 15. My he's more of a Final Fantasy fan than I am, but he played 15. It's kind of like it was so weird too, because it's like you have these like rock star characters almost, and they drive this like sick like car around like this weird like overgrown world. It's like so odd because it's like you feel like it has no place, but it's like they just take, especially with 15, they just like it was so over the top, just kind of like pop culture, I feel like. And it's like but it seems like this may pull it back a little bit, and kind of just like it's just gonna be sick cinematic combat. I think is gonna be the biggest
Oh
takeaway.
yeah.
um Looks pretty sick. Who knows if I'll get around to playing it. Like I said, I didn't play too much of the older games, but especially
I
with
guess sorry. Yeah, I guess
yeah, you're
my
good.
question is do you have to play like all the Final Fantasies in a row to understand what's going on with the new one?
That's a good question. I don't know. I have no
I don't
idea.
think so, right? There's
I
so
don't think
many of
so.
the Final
Yeah.
Fantasy games, so it's like I think it's just all in the universe kind of thing, like that kind of
Yeah.
meta. Like,
Yeah. I think it is. It's like I feel like maybe it's Kingdom Hearts I'm thinking of. I know Kingdom Hearts has a crazy story that
oh,
you could spend
you,
like you'd spend a
yeah,
whole month trying to figure out everything, and you still wouldn't figure it out. It's like so crazy.
yeah.
I feel like Final
Video
Fantasy
game,
like
video
falls
game donkey,
like yeah.
video game donkey has a great segment on
Dude,
that.
oh my gosh. I love that guy. But yeah, it's
Uh,
dude. I feel like Final Fantasy is probably in that same vein, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I feel like a lot of people will probably just jump in at 7 anyway and just play, and then like because
oh yeah,
8, 9, and 10 I don't hear too much about. It's kind of just like yeah, they exist, but it's not like
yeah,
anything. It's like crazy.
yeah. That's what I hear too. Everybody's just like, I mean, it was okay, or like they had one or two things that they didn't like about it, so they don't replay it. But they're the ones that hit. I mean, people will not stop talking about them. You
Yeah,
know, so that's kind of just the culture of Final Fantasy, I think, and the fan base.
yeah, for sure. But that was pretty much it for the state of play. It was only a 30-minute show, pretty short, but they had some heavy hitters, man. Resident Evil 4,
Yeah,
like
they did.
opening up with that was insane to me because like I was hoping to hear some Resident Evil, and then just like be like, oh, here's 4 and here's a release date. We'll show it up front. That was pretty sick.
Nope.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. So I'm looking forward to that. But there wasn't too much we had to go into. I know that was most of the stories. Of course, I wanted to go into a little bit, which we always do. First show of the month, we go into releases coming out. Before we get to kind of the main like release list, I just wanted to go through and talk about some of the stuff coming to Xbox Game Pass this month, and just a reminder for PlayStation Plus as well. A couple of the heavy hitters this month is For Honor. Marching Fire Edition is coming on June 1st. Assassin's Creed Origins is coming to Game Pass on June 7th with a 60 FPS patch that's coming out along with it. So that'll be on, of course, console, PC, and cloud for Assassin's Creed Origins. It's like probably the biggest game. There's some smaller titles as well. Ones, if I'm being honest, I haven't heard of, but certainly most of them are indie games. So I will be checking those out, I'm sure, at some point. Because they're a part of ID at Xbox. So those are the two main ones, those For Honor and Assassin's Creed. And of course, for PlayStation Plus members, it is launching June 13th in the US to be specific. The new game subscription tiers of Extra and Premium are coming to the PlayStation Plus lineup. And as we were mentioning too, there are going to be what appears to be games that'll be coming out as well, day and date. The with the Extra and Premium tier, so make sure certainly check those out. And there's even just a huge catalog to choose from if you go with either of those tiers for their already existing PlayStation library. So I think it seems like it's definitely gonna be worth it if you're into that PlayStation ecosystem. And June 13th for the US people. It will be June 23rd is when it'll be launching in Europe. So if you're over there, you'll get it 10 days later. But that was, I think, pretty much like the main thing I wanted to cover, especially the subscription services this month. But Mike, I'll certainly let you break down the other games that we'll be seeing this month.
Well, there are a ton of them. First of all, not on the level of like November release, kind of like getting ready for the holidays kind of deal, but there's a good handful of them for a mix of different games. So just this month, I'm gonna go through the list that I've handpicked for the ones that might be, I guess, have the bigger audience and people are more excited for. If that makes sense. So the first one on June 2nd, which is actually today, is it not? The time of this recording, it is today. Diablo Immortal is out on the PC. So that's a pretty big one. And I think maybe we should talk about it now or next episode next week, because I've heard some hardcore Diablo fans are not that excited right now.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
I don't.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll see. We'll see what the reviews come in. I guess what people think, but yeah, it's, I don't know. It's not looking good at the start, so I don't know.
Yeah,
we're the best.
Yeah, we'll have to come back and visit that. Also on PC, June 6th is the Elder Scrolls Online High Isle, which I do believe is a DLC, is it not?
I believe so, but I do not play ESO myself, so.
Let's see.
ESO High Isle. Seems like it. I've seen a bunch of videos for like previews, and I've seen a bunch of videos on how to prepare for High Isle. So
yeah, that means it's a DLC.
Yeah, it's gotta be. But yeah, I mean ESO, it's a live service game, right? So
yeah, that's exactly So that's coming out in 4 days. So that's pretty exciting for people playing Elder Scrolls. The next one, which is pretty exciting for people with the Switch, is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 is coming out June 8th.
Oh, baby.
Pretty big port. I mean, it's an old school game, but I mean, it's like considered one of the best ever Star Wars games.
For sure.
Definitely worth checking out. Following up with Switch, June 10th, we have Mario Strikers Battle League, which you and I have been talking about for what, 2 months now?
I feel like, yeah.
Since we saw the trailer first.
Dude.
So I am
baby.
so stoked. The next one, PS4, PS5, June 10th, same day, is The Quarry, which is a horror game. I believe it's also on, for some reason I didn't write down the other platforms. Let me look it up right now. It shouldn't take long. But it's a horror game and it looks awesome. That's all I can say about it. Yeah. So it comes out on PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. So by definition of what The Quarry is, it is an upcoming interactive drama horror video game developed by Supermassive Games and published by 2K Games. It is a spiritual successor to Until Dawn. So that is why I wanted to bring it up, because I saw a couple of trailers. I mean, it looks graphically, aesthetically pleasing.
Oh yeah.
It just looks awesome. I don't know what else to say. I mean, like, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, if it's anything related to Until Dawn, I'm definitely gonna be looking up probably gonna be looking at some YouTubers to watch that, because I remember for me, funny story, in college, my roommate and I, one of my new roommates I got, like, one of the ways we bonded was we watched Markiplier play through Until Dawn, and it was like, he was posting every day, right? So like we would like after class we'd like just sit there and like I'd be like, dude, like Markiplier just posted a new episode. Like, we gotta watch this. And, like, sometimes it's a couple days apart, which is unfortunate. But like, dude, he was like on it about posting, so we were just like
It's
we watched
awesome.
through the entirety of the game. It's a lot of fun. That's a game still. Like, if I see people streaming it or whatever, I'll like hang around a little bit and watch just to see what choices they make because it's very like decision based.
That's pretty cool.
So
You get
yeah,
to judge their decisions too, I bet.
yeah,
Yeah, I would have chose
yeah, for
this. What would
sure.
you have chosen? That kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's
That's very cool.
yeah, it's one of those games too. Like, there's so many different paths you can take, and like there's like a crew. I think like 7 or 8 or something like that in the first game. There is a way you can play the game where no, like, all right, spoilers if you haven't played the game. So I'm just like, but you know, it's just 7 years old anyway. There, there's like a way you can play the game where nobody in the game dies. So like, typically in your typical playthrough, you know, there's always a few people that at least die because you mess up or you do something. But there's a
Yeah,
way you can play where like nobody dies. There's a way you can play where like you just kill everyone. There's like so many different ways to do it. But it's
pretty cool.
yeah, it's a cool game. So I feel like it's probably going to be in a similar vein. But I'm certainly going to be looking for some YouTubers, I think, and I'm going to watch some of the gameplay because it's should be interesting.
You should go back and watch Markiplier because he's probably gonna do it.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like,
Throwback.
I'm hoping he does. I actually went back and watched some like a couple Markiplier videos like over the weekend, and I was just like, it's been a while since I've just like sat down and like just like like watched a Markiplier video. He's playing some game, some horror game where like he was like in the it had the same kind of feel to like there was a game that came out like a couple years back about you're playing like a kid that goes to works at a grocery store and like the manager is like it's like every like trope of a bad like job kind of thing and like
Oh no.
it's a horror game where like you have to go around like you have to stock shelves but then customers hound you and like it'd be like where's this and then like
Oh
when
my
the
god.
the boss can fire you and it's like the funniest thing because like the store just completely goes dark, it's like a green hue all around, and then like all of a sudden like you just see this like boss just like darting at you and it's like the most horrifying thing ever, and then he fires you and it's game over, you have to start over. It's like the funniest thing ever because like the graphics look so stupid, but it's I don't know. It was really funny. So he's playing the
That's
game.
such a good concept though.
Yeah, he was playing the game kind of similar graphically anyway to that. So I was watching through that. But anyways, I digress.
Sounds awesome. So back to the games. Um, June 21st, Wreckfest, which is a game that's on, I believe, PC and Xbox. Just like a racing driving simulator that you wreck, you explode, bunch of like different projectiles and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Really explosive, and that's coming into Nintendo Switch, so it's already out on all other platforms, pretty much. But Switch is getting it for themselves, so that's pretty cool. Uh, let's see. By the way, the Elder Scrolls Online High Isle. So I mentioned this earlier. It's on June 6th for PC. It doesn't come out until PS4, PS5, and Xbox until June 21st. So same day as
that's
Wreckfest.
that's really
So you gotta
interesting.
wait.
Yeah, it's really
It's kind of
interesting.
been that way for a while, though.
Yeah.
Way.
There's approvals and stuff and huge like channels they have to go through on console to get things approved, and I'm sure on PC
Yeah,
it's a lot quicker to get that stuff out. So I guess it makes sense.
exactly. And I think it's easier to optimize on PC than it is like the PS4 or Xbox One. I
Yeah,
don't know,
yeah, I'm
maybe.
sure.
So, following up a couple of days after that, June 23rd, Sonic Origins, which is pretty much all the throwback games that like Sonic is known for. Like,
Oh
picture
yeah,
any Sonic game ever. I mean, like the old ones. So that's June 23rd. That's going to be coming to every platform: PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox, PC. Then we follow it up with Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes, which I believe you and I have covered briefly in a couple of Nintendo Direct
yeah, I
uh,
believe so.
cast. Yeah, that's gonna be on the Nintendo Switch, June 24th. There's another one in here I wanted to throw in is MX versus ATV Legends. It just looks like motocross, ATV, like racing simulator. Like I think it's been a while since we've had a really good one of those.
Yeah, that-
That's yeah. I want to see one of those that's open world. So hopefully this has some type of element for it. It's coming out June 28th. Gonna be on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. Then the next couple we have is actually DLC content. First one, they're all coming out on June 30th, by the way. So the end of the month. The first one is Cuphead: The Delicious Last Course. That's on PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox, and PC. I believe we've actually covered that last episode slightly. Cuphead, because there are a lot of like Cuphead's getting that kind of cult like following. People are dedicated.
Dude,
It's
yeah.
not an easy game.
I mean, that's a big
Um,
DLC too, right? Like from what
oh
I've heard,
yeah,
it's like that's it's not Cuphead
yeah,
2, but it's pretty close. Like
yeah.
the
That's
amount of
what people are
content you
saying.
get
They're
out
like,
of that.
you just make a new game.
Yeah, for real.
Always good to see it being DLC. And yeah, June 30th, all platforms. So for people that are diehard into Cuphead, that's for you. The next one is Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, DLC on Switch and PC. Then we have Outriders World Slayer DLC on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and PC. So we got tons of new games coming out this week or this month, and many more to come. And who knows, this list could be inaccurate by this time next week
Oh yeah, definitely.
because there's no telling what's going on at the Summer Games Fest because they
Yeah.
can just be like, by the way, we've been working on this in secret, and here's new games.
Yeah,
There you
right.
go. Enjoy yourself. So,
Yeah, this list could change, subject to change in
mhm.
the coming week, but yeah, we could it got a nice little bit for it being June. This is actually like a decent amount. So,
Yeah, yeah, it is. So I
um,
think that pretty much covers it. You got anything else?
yeah, I will say I had to double check what the name of that game was. Um, the name of the game is called Night of the Consumers, and I recommend you just go and watch Markiplier's video on it because it's so funny, man. It's just like
Night
it's like
of
it's
the
only 25 minutes
Consumers.
long, so it's a little lengthy, but but dude, just like the art style and everything, that the art style alone is creepy, and then like
Oh,
just
wow.
the whole like oh dude, it's so funny, man. I'd highly recommend watching that if you haven't. And it's the
Oh,
video
Max.
title is My Literal Nightmare, and then it's Night of the Consumers. Uh,
It
so
looks like
good.
Jacksepticeye also did it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure all like the big guys did it, but dude, it's just
I mean,
like
yeah.
it's so funny, man. Uh,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah,
I think that pretty much covers it until next week, don't you?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's not much else. I'm excited for next week. We're gonna see a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff.
so am I. So am
So
I. I'm going to be watching all of that.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have that. Because we have the main showcase, of course, we'll be able to cover on next week's show. The Xbox Bethesda showcase, which is the next major one, won't be covered until the following week. But I'm excited to see what they show at that because I want to see more Bethesda stuff. They delayed Starfield, but at least show me some gameplay or something, man. So that's what I'm hoping for.
That's a fact. They got to have something in the pipeline.
Yeah,
Show me like the first 5 minutes of like the first mission.
yeah, real.
Show me
Some
something like that.
Show me a good quest, all right? Don't look. They can't. They can't. Please don't fall out for it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, don't just put a bunch of fetch quests and maybe a couple substantials and just like a story that's just not
Oh,
like
man.
a story that doesn't like make me feel like I was a part of something. Like, oh man, I'm hoping for the best, but I mean, if they're delaying it, I'm hoping it only means good things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, it's got to be. Hopefully. But don't bring up Fallout because you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah,
It'd be
I
so
mean, yeah,
bad
I'll knock on
if they
wood.
do
Don't
it
worry.
again.
Uh, so yeah.
Fair enough. So, I believe that wraps it up. This has been, what are we at? We're at episode 20. Episode 20. Oh, shout out previous episode in the link is our go jeez, I'm fumbling right now. Our guest Gunshot. So go check that out. It was a fun episode. Been a while since we've had a guest episode, and yeah, felt like there's some value there.
Yeah,
But
it's a
without
good
further
one.
ado, yeah. So without further ado, this has been episode 20 of the M2 podcast. I'm your host, Michael Anthony, Mr. Co-host, Mr. JK, Kyle Heath. And without further ado, we appreciate you. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week, everyone. Peace.
Peace out.